So the whole thing with Steam, MasterCard, Visa, adult video games, banks, it's all an odd combination. You might think I was crazy if I said that like 3 months ago, but yeah, you know what I'm talking about. This whole situation has gotten pretty interesting, but there's a bit of good news in it recently. Not a lot, don't get really excited. The whole problem hasn't just been solved. But in Japan, there was actually just a politician that was interviewed, and he said some pretty good things about this whole thing. Basically, he's very much in support of not having these cards and banks be able to dictate and censor the content that we as gamers are able to have. So that is this person right here, Zenko Kurishita. I have seen some photos of him, but there's really not much, and of the photos I have seen, there's like watermarks all over it. So I don't know, I won't show, but you know, he's a good looking dude, okay? So anyway, it says he's a Japanese free speech activist and politician. He did serve 2 terms as a member of the Tokyo Metropolitan Assembly. So he just sat down for an interview with a Japanese platform called Den Faminico Gamer. I think that's how you say it. And they were asking him about this stuff. Now, to give a little bit of background, this Automaton article that I found does say that the issue of credit card companies one-sidedly enforcing censorship of games only recently started gaining traction on a worldwide level, but in Japan, it has actually been a problem ever since 2022, when crackdowns on adult content platforms like DL Site began. It goes without saying that things have escalated in the meantime, and Kurishita says that the most dangerous part of the ongoing censorship is the quote-unquote invisible mechanism behind it. And that, to put simply, is just what is the credit card company's intent behind this whole thing. So going straight to the source, now I think this was actually translated, so some of it might sound off from what I show here, but to quote him, he says, "Here is the problem. No one really knows the true intentions of credit card companies because they do not state their principles." Yeah, I mean, with this whole thing, we're told that it's because the credit card companies, but we're never really given a straightforward reason as to why, specifically from them. And it sucks because then it seems like the platforms like Steam just kind of have to, you know, go with the punches and just kind of do whatever these credit card companies say, even if they don't want to. Kurishita says, "I spoke directly with people involved with multiple platforms, and it seems that many of them were under the assumption that starting next week you won't be able to use it at your location." Again, that's a translation thing. I think kind of what he means is, you know, hey, starting next week you won't be able to, you know, have games with like this content and that content in it. He's kind of saying like, you know, that's what the credit card companies will say to platforms like Steam. Now he says this was not communicated directly by Visa or MasterCard, but indirectly by intermediary acquirers and payment processors. And so that kind of once again goes into the argument that I have heard that it's not just 100% Visa and MasterCard. Some of it could be the banks, and some of it with these intermediate acquirers. It could be other companies that are connecting these credit card companies to people that are basically making purchases, or the people that are receiving the money, basically like non-bank financial companies. It does sound like there are just a lot more pieces to this puzzle. Overall, though, I think he really makes a good point. You know, the corporations that are behind all of this, whether they are these regulators or these banks or these payment processors, what are their motives at the end of the day? And, you know, a point that I think is very good here that I've heard is that they are also unelected. Like, you know, whoever is pulling these strings, they're not elected officials. It's almost like they are completely flipping the script and changing up like policies and stuff, even though nobody has elected them, but they still just have that kind of control. So that's the situation that we are unfortunately in. But it is good that an actual legitimate Japanese politician has spoken out against this, especially since it sounds like the problem in Japan has been going on for, unfortunately, even longer than the rest of the world.